This comment asks, do you have any tips for keeping ourselves calm and relaxed in the moment when our dogs are in that orange-red sympathetic state of arousal? So yes, absolutely. When our dogs are activated, it can actually be very activating for us, and that's very normal. It's a completely appropriate reaction for a number of reasons. Looking at barking specifically, barking can activate our limbic system in the same way that a scream can. And for those with sensory sensitivities, it can be physically painful. We can also look separate from barking at the stress responses that we might have in response to our dog's stress responses. So for example, if my dog reacts when they see other dogs and they're lunging and barking, and it creates an unsafe situation, it totally makes sense for my nervous system to say, hey, red flag, threat alert, when I see another dog, even if my dog's not with me. Sometimes it may be that our dog's reaction to stress is to seek social support, and we just might be done. We might be physically touched out. We may have some demand avoidance at play. We may just be at the bottom of an empty cup and need time for ourselves and to decompress, and our dog needs something else from us in that moment. So there are many, many, many reasons why our dog's behavior and our dog's stress levels may influence our stress levels. We are social creatures after all, and so are they. And so we impact each other. I think that one of the first things to recognize is that being dysregulated, being triggered, is morally neutral. It is morally neutral to be dysregulated and triggered. You are not a bad person. You are not failing. You are not doing something wrong by becoming dysregulated when your dog is dysregulated. Just like we do for our dogs, one of the best steps to take is preventative. How can we set the stage so that our dog is less likely to become triggered? And so that if they do become triggered, we are best able to support them without becoming dysregulated ourselves. Things like getting enough sleep, getting a good quality of sleep, ensuring that we have eaten foods that nourish us, ensuring that we're staying hydrated, and looking at our other enrichment needs. Are we getting rest, sensory rest, emotional rest, social rest? Are we getting the social support that we need from the community? Essentially, are our enrichment needs met? And for many of us, our enrichment needs are not met. We don't live in a society that prioritizes or often even cares about our enrichment needs being met as humans. Do we have opportunities for species-typical behaviors? Are we spending time in nature? And the tricky thing is that some of these things might not be accessible to us. There may not be accessible, safe nature for some people. It may not be possible to work the amount of work that we need to work in order to pay our bills and meet our basic needs and also get enough sleep. We may not have community around us offering social support. But I think that if we are aware of our enrichment needs, that there can be gaps that we can fill in to make things better and easier. And if we know that certain needs aren't being met, it can help remove some of the individual shame that can come with not having those needs met, or rather the response that comes with not having those needs met. Sort of of course I'm not okay, we're not meant to live like this. And of course, environmental management for our dog plays a role here. The better managed our dog's stress is, the better managed our stress is. I think it can also be very helpful in this vein to look for opportunities to keep the relationship strong with our dog, to remember why we're doing the hard work that we are doing, and to keep our relational cup full with our dog. When the stress is happening, it can be helpful to have coping skills that we've practiced in advance. So this can be things like breathing exercises, body check-ins. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, relax your jaw, take a deep breath in, and then a deep exhale out of it. Singing can be really helpful. So if you feel like you're about to start yelling, for example, try singing instead. This is a great way to calm your system. It's also a great way to make things silly. I often encourage my clients, if they feel the urge to yell no at their dog or stop at their dog, to yell yes instead. And that's because often we're using yes as a verbal marker that has a positive connotation for the dog. And often that's going to act as a positive interrupter. And so two things are happening. It can be helpful to have a system in place where if you are reaching your limit, you can recognize it and remove yourself and tap someone else in. Throwing treats can be really helpful. You can throw them really hard at the ground, and your dog is just like, fantastic, treats. In fact, I did that this morning. As someone with ADHD and an autistic person, I often struggle with certain pitches of barking, particularly with my own dogs. But lately I've been having some health issues, some neurological stuff going on. That means that sometimes one of my dog's barking noises can actually trigger like intense physical pain. And that was starting this morning. He was excited about going walking, and I could see that he was gearing up to start barking about it while we got ready. And I was already really like frustrated. I was trying to go on this walk to calm myself down because I was having just a bad health morning and I was frustrated about it. And I grabbed treats out of my treat pouch and I threw them on the ground, and they were thrilled. The barking was interrupted before it even started. I didn't experience pain, and it gave me just a little bit of a physical outlet that I needed, so then I could access things like a deep breath, pulling my shoulders down, and other grounding techniques. Remember too that it is okay to walk away. Sometimes, we want to be there and we want to support our dog, but if that's not accessible to us and we feel that we are about to cause harm through our own dysregulation, sometimes the better option is to just leave the room. And even if that's not the ideal that we might want, it might, from a harm reduction standpoint, be the best option, and that is okay. As it particularly relates to our dogs, going back to that social support aspect, behavior work can be so isolating. People, if they haven't been through it themselves, they don't understand. And because of management, they often will think that like we are overreacting in the management that we put around for our dogs. Like, your dog is totally fine. Why don't you just leave them home alone when your dog has like severe separation anxiety? And so, as well-meaning as those people may be, as well-intended, it can be so vital to connect with other people who do understand what you're going through, whether that's through social media or like we have a free monthly Zoom support group for our community members to connect with other pet parents. However it might be accessible, connecting with other people who can understand and relate is so important. And remember, dysregulation is morally neutral. You are not bad. Your behavior is not bad. It is just your body trying to survive. Give yourself as much grace as you give your dog.